I give you Quebec nationalism.
Yeah. Woo. Yeah.
The year is 1942. Everybody is happy, Hitler's been defeated, World War II is over. Quebec kind of sat in Canada and was like, look at this peaceful bowl of soup, why don't we stir it up? Started making things like the FLQ, Quebec Separatists, and Bill 101. Now, whether these changed Canada for the worse or for the better, definitely for the worse. Definitely. And you're about to find out why. Because I'm going to tell you how. The FLQ was a group formed in 1963. Their goal was to liberate Quebec from Canada. Up until the 1970s, when the group disbanded, the FLQ committed very many crimes, such as kidnapping, robbery, and even bombing. These crimes were sectioned off into things called waves, which were strategically planned plans. Now, moving forward a bit, the day is October 5th, 1970. James Cross, the British Trade Commissioner, has been kidnapped from his home by the FLQ. 5 days later, Pierre Laporte is also kidnapped by the FLQ from his home. This is where our beloved Canadian Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau hops in. He was like, I'm going to start the War Measures Act, and the rest of Canada was like, what? And then Pierre Trudeau was all like,
just watch me.
So for the first time in Canadian history, the act was used while Canada was not at war. Canadian troops descended into Quebec City in hopes to apprehend all of the FLQ. On October 17th, however, Pierre Laporte was found dead in the trunk of a car. Canada was in an outrage. They didn't think the FLQ would go this far. The FLQ later stated that they subsequently wanted to use Laporte's death as an advantage by convincing the government that they should be taken more seriously. Although the FLQ was slowly dropping in numbers due to strategic police raids, they progressively arrested most of the FLQ's members and only 6 remained. The last 6 FLQ members made a deal with the local police that they would be allowed to leave the country in exchange for British Trade Commissioner James Cross. The last of the FLQ chose to flee to Cuba, but apparently Cuba is not a very nice place, and soon returned for their inevitable arrest. The year is 1945, and Quebec still wants to separate from Canada. They have now taken a government foothold and want a referendum. What is a referendum, you ask? A referendum is a general vote by the electorate and a single political question that has been referred to them for a decision. Direct decision. That was not the definition. Anyway, what was the question you asked?
Après-vu que la Québec devait après avoir offert formulat au Canada un nouveau parlement équateur la politique dans le cadre de protéger le sol dans Québec et de limiter le 12 juin 1945.
Which pretty much means, do you want to separate from Canada? So, once again, Canada was in an outrage. They were scared at what was going to happen if the referendum actually did go through. Which, in fact, it came very close. In the beginning, no had 75% of the votes, which wasn't a big issue. Everybody thought it was going to be absolutely fine. Then a couple key fellows came in. The leader of the Quebec, Jacques Prizou, came in and was very, very for Quebec separating from Canada. Not to mention the Bloc Québécois leader, Louis Brancard, came in. And everybody was like, whoa, these guys are serious stuff, let's start voting yes. In fact, near the end, less than half of Guelph's population could have decided the vote. So, what actually was so bad about Quebec separating from Canada? And what would have been the issue? Well, first off, it would have completely cut Canada off from the East Coast. We would have had to start paying border taxes. You would have needed a passport to go to Quebec. and America might even have taken over Quebec because finally we have Bill 101. Quebec felt their culture was in danger. Being surrounded by the English, their French was slowly dying off. Canada did not like the idea of Bill 101. Why should an entire country have to learn French if one small province could learn English? Not to mention, the French couldn't really make up their mind on what exactly they wanted to do with Bill 101. Since 1997, it has been amended 6 times. Of course, being the nice people that we are, around the 1980s, the bill was finally passed, French was put into all government documents and products, and everybody lived happily ever after. Except not. French has become a huge issue for all children of today, up until the years of grade 9. Of course, I'm only kidding. French has changed Canada for the better. We seem more proud and full as a bilingual, multicultural country. And in the end, Bill 101 was definitely a good thing for Canada. Of course, minus all the bickering, complaining, and carrying on our grandparents and parents did.
Darn good thing too. Who needs French? French.
In conclusion, Quebec nationalists are very pleased with what they have been doing over the last couple years, and they have successfully stirred up Canada and changed it for mostly the worse. The only good thing that actually came out of Quebec nationalists was probably Bill 101, which can still be disagreed as a bad thing. Anyway, thank you for watching, and now for a game!
Yeah, man, games.